going to share something today that is so important when it comes to your child's health. And that is why we holistic health practitioners make such a big fuss when it comes to your child's gut health, even though their gut health might not be obviously related to the symptoms that they are having. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Bettina Gross. I am a holistic pediatric health coach and practitioner. And I help moms whose kids struggle with constant or recurring health issues. Just where conventional medicine just doesn't have a good answer to resolve their symptoms, to make sure their kid gets to live a healthy, happy life and thrives to their fullest potential. So if this is you, if you're like, well, I don't know, why should I bother with my child's microbiome, which is, by the way, their intestinal flora, so all the little bacteria, viruses, also fungi that grow inside of our intestines, basically. So why should I figure out the foods that are not good for my child, right? They are not constipated. Why do you think my child does have a gut health issue? They don't have a tummy ache. They don't complain about something not feeling right in their belly. So why should I bother with this? Why should I bother with gut health when my child is constantly sick or has a cold, like kind of constantly, or has recurring ear infections or sinus infections or, like a constant cough over the winter months, maybe eczema, pollen allergies, behavioral issues, focus problems? Why should I bother with gut health? And the answer to this is actually pretty simple if you understand just a little bit how the body works. And this is why I'm here. I'm here to teach you in a very simple way, hopefully, how your body reacts so you can focus on the right things in your child's healing journey. Okay, and definitely let me know if I'm explaining it to you in a way that is actually understandable and easy, right? I always try to make things easy. So the thing is that I'd also like to just teach you the things that are actually going to move the needle and help you to manage or even completely resolve your child's symptoms without having to use conventional drugs and all their side effects, okay? And this is also actually step 1 of my 6-step heal method, to understand why is my child having certain health issues? Where do they come from? And in the next step, what you can do to remove the triggers, right? The triggering factors for those symptoms, those health issues, the root cause, so to speak, to help your child feel better, because that's what we all want. We don't want to watch our kids out there suffering, right? In one or the other way. So if you're watching this live, definitely say hi. And if you're watching the replay, then put hashtag replay so that I know this is actually something that you are passionate about and that is relevant to your current situation. So, my friends, the thing is, we have lost a significant amount of diversity and functionality when it comes to our bacterial flora compared to our forefathers, compared to our ancestors. And this is not just like million years ago. I'm not talking million years ago. I'm not talking 1,000 years ago. This is from just like 100 years ago, okay? So we have lost many of our microbes, and because of that, we are also not passing down the full set of microbes from mother to child, because we're not actually having that many microbes anymore, right? So we can't pass them down from mother to child. And like I said, so this is the microbes, the microbiome is going down from mom to child. The baby also gets it already gets a little bit of mom's gut bacteria when they are still in the womb, in utero, so to speak. So this is actually really, really interesting because um, the immune cells are actually reaching across the intestinal lining of mom, pulling bacteria through. So the baby is getting exposed to them in the womb already, right? And then, of course, the biggest part of the exposure happens when baby is born by sliding through the birth canal. And then after baby is born, we touch this, we hold it, right? So we cuddle it, and it gets the first skin to skin contact with mom, with dad. And then mom nurses the baby. And the interesting thing is that mother's milk actually contains up to 300 different oligosaccharides, which are prebiotics solely there to feed baby's gut bacteria, right? That just starting to colonize in there, to settle in, to get cozy and divide and divide and divide. And so they, of course, they also need to be fed, and that's why we have those oligosaccharides in mother's milk. So, and you see already where I'm going there, because oftentimes birth isn't like that, right? Because actually 33% of births are C-sections. My own son was born with a C-section. Even though I did everything before giving birth, I did so many classes and hypnotherapy and read all those books. And, actually, I always thought, the worst thing for me that would be if my baby would have to be born with a C-section. It was just my biggest wish to have a natural birth. And I thought I was so well prepared, but it didn't happen that way, right? Sometimes we can't control these things, right? Sometimes mom is given antibiotics before birth because of group B strep bacteria, right? Or mom doesn't have healthy gut bacteria herself. Mom doesn't have a balanced microbiome herself. And this was me too, because I had, like, by the age of 6, probably 15 rounds of antibiotics. And my gut microbiome was never repaired because back then in the 80s, if you didn't have diarrhea or constipation after a round of antibiotics, you didn't get a probiotic prescribed from your doctor, right? So I definitely had a microbiome that was not balanced when I gave birth to my son, okay? And then maybe mom isn't able to breastfeed. So the bacteria, they don't get those 300 oligosaccharides, right? That are supposed to feed them in the gut. And yeah, like so many kids get born that way today, right? With a deficit at the beginning. And then in addition to that, we have over sterilization of our environment. We sanitize everything, right? So whose kid has been born during the COVID pandemic, okay? So, and then after even that, kids aren't spending that much time outdoors anymore, right? They go to school, they drive in the car, then they get to spend a little bit of time at home. Oftentimes, they don't get to play outdoors much. They might not be able to play with animals. They might not get dirty, right? Like kids used to, like 100 years ago. And that also plays a big role. But then also, of course, kids are getting so much antibiotics these days too. One of my colleagues, I don't remember who he was, but one of my colleagues actually said that the average American child has had 6 rounds of antibiotics by age 3. And I thought that was really horrible, but it sounds about right, right? And so it's no surprise that things like autism are going up, ADHD rates are on the rise, allergies, asthma, right? They are all on the rise. So many kids suffer from allergies today. And those illnesses, they can really all be traced back to dysfunctions of kids' microbiomes. So, number one, you can assume that the majority of chronic ongoing issues, whether you are a child or you are an adult, can actually be traced back to some kind of dysfunction within the microbiome. Because the microbiome is so responsible for so much of our functionality. So you can assume that most health problems will have a component in the gut. And the gut may not be the primary driver of the issue, but a dysfunctional gut is likely the reason why you are not improving that issue. So some of the conditions that are very clearly directly related to the gut are immune dysfunctions, right? So immune dysfunctions like asthma, allergies, eczema, psoriasis, even acne. These are all inflammatory immunological conditions. But then, of course, primary digestive issues like bloating, gas, chronic diarrhea, chronic constipation, food sensitivities, mood issues, attention deficits, autism spectrum disorders, tantrums, misbehaving are also directly related to gut health or the gut microbiome through the gut brain axis, right? Metabolic syndromes. Kids are gaining weight, so kids that are overweight, or also kids that are not growing fast enough and they are not thriving, they are not meeting their developmental milestones. Okay, so if your child isn't sleeping well, even that can have a gut issue as a root cause, so to speak, right? So if your kid is 3 years or older, still can't fall asleep, or still constantly wakes up throughout the night, this can also be related to gut health issues. So you see, the gut really does play a big role in your child's health or healing process. And that's why I always start there with the families that I support. And that's why I've also created a whole program around this. Little Gut Reset, it's called. And it is dedicated to restoring your child's gut health, to rebalancing or even rebuilding your child's microbiome, and just basically healing their gut. And kids have seen such big improvements by going through this little program. And you guys, I'm going to hop off here because I'm always trying to keep these lives at, around 15 to 20 minutes tops, because I know how valuable your time as a mother is, and I just know how busy we all are as moms. So let me know in the comments if you are watching the recording, then give me a #replay. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. Also make sure to check the description below the video, and we will make sure you get all the information you need to take your next step on your child's healing journey. All right, my friends, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.